Hey you guys, so while we're on the subject of this mysterious Vienna gambit that now does actually have a name, I've got another game to share, which is really interesting. So my opponent's rated 1300 at the time of the game, and this is the idea that traditionally a lot of people would recommend this, but I don't find I have the best results with it. So what we're going to do is this. Now, chess.com just says this is the max lang defense when your opponent plays this kind of semi-copycat with the knight out here, and it says that this is the max lang Vienna gambit. However, according to Wikipedia, if black takes the pawn and then you play d4, this is apparently the Steinitz gambit in the Vienna game. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the Steinitz gambit offered, and then we see what happens. So this is the Steinitz gambit declined with knight f6, and now we find ourselves in familiar territory, because this is now exactly the same as the Vienna gambit declined with knight f6. Okay, and we know exactly what to do here. What we do is we take the pawn and we are tempting the knight to take, and if the knight takes, we play d4. This is the Halloween line, right? So you can transpose into the Halloween line from the Steinitz gambit declined with knight f6. So there we go. And of course now we play e5 and the other knight has to retreat. So we've got a nice advantage. I'll show you the rest of the game because it's kind of fun. So knight f3, obviously preventing queen h4 check. Opponent now plays d6, right? And when you have this pattern, you've got these two advanced pawns and there's tension here, you want to put your queen in front. So queen here. Now, I don't know if I played this correctly, but it's a fun game anyway. So e takes d6, check, right? And here, obviously, I mean, this is just horrible because the knight can't block, the bishop can't block, the knight can't block, the queen can't block. Anything that tries to block on e7 is just going to get munched by the pawn, right? This bishop could block, but then d5 forks bishop and knight. It's just horrible. So what we have here is actually king d7. Now, I can't do the check there with the discovery on the bishop, because if knight takes knight, the knight then defends the bishop, so that doesn't work. So here I took, and we'll see if that was the right thing to do later, queen recaptures. Now I've got a pinned knight, and I can't castle. Knight's about to attack this with a fork on knight and queen as well. So bishop to e3, defending the pawn. And of course also, yeah, the big problem is the threat of rook e8 with this as well. So I kind of head that off. Black plays rook e8 anyway, and now I kick the bishop away. He attacks the knight, and this is now potentially an issue because we've got two attackers on here. It has got two defenders, that's not the end of the world, right? But I realise if I... Actually, here I could also have castled long, right, and pinned the knight against the king. That would have worked. But here I have this. And if queen takes or rook takes, I just grab the bish. So rook takes, I grab the bish with check as well. This is good. This comes with tempo. And now I'm attacking the knight twice as well. And I'm ready to castle long. So the knight moves. Good move by my opponent, right? Now, this might be playable because the knight's actually pinned. Anytime you block a check with a piece, you pin it, right? So this might be playable, apart from my own bishop's pinned, so that don't work. So long castles with check, good idea, right? So the king's in check, has to move. I also wanted to eye up this pin as well, but that doesn't quite work. So now actually material is equal. And black's king has just done a little dance around the board and ended up back on e8. However, the kingside pieces are woefully underdeveloped. So I now complete development by developing my bishop with check and connect my rooks. So king has to move. This is really the only thing. The rook can't block. If the rook were to take, just be giving up the exchange. So the king moves. Saves material. And now knight comes in here. We're forcing an exchange sack, really, or forcing black to give up the exchange. because I've got a fork on king and queen, the only way out of it is for rook to take. Takes. Knight now forks. So my opponent puts up a really, really good fight here. Knight now forks rook and queen. So I just move to the side, okay, now pinning the knight. So this is a really nice kind of exercise in the use of pins. So now the knight can't take the rook because it would put the king in check, okay? So that's now, I guess, preparing this. So what would you play here? Rook to d7, right? Taking advantage of the fact that the knight is pinned, yeah? And this is now a fork on king and queen. So at this point, black resigns. But I think that was a pretty decent fight from black. But again, just another really nice example of how this Steinitz gambit in the Vienna can be really, really useful. So let's see what the analysis says. I'm having internet problems today. I don't know if anyone else is. Certain sites, Zoom is very slow. Chess.com can be very, very slow as well. I'm not even uploading anything, but I don't know if it is this a DNS thing, or is it Amazon Web Services are suffering? I don't know. Or is it to do with my ISP, which is BT in the UK? We do not know. But we will sit here and chat for a moment until chess.com sorts its stuff out. But yeah, I'm liking this gambit very much indeed. You know, and you can see how we got into some very familiar territory. I mean, this, for example, is exactly the same as the Vienna gambit, right? Declined, it's actually declined with knight c6, isn't it? Right? So, you know, here, if he played the Vienna gambit, we offer, and he declines with knight c6, we just take, and we know exactly where we are then, or wherever the knight goes, you play e5, okay? And are we going to get an analysis? Maybe we're not. Maybe we're not today. Okay, but I will check it. I will update my my Lee chess study for you guys, so you'll have to go back and check it on your own, I'm afraid, because chess.com ain't playing ball. I just thought I'd share that with you. Nice little fun game. Thanks for sharing it with me. See you soon.